the UK riots and attacks between various communities.
I just want to make my own opinion and analysis based on the situation we find ourselves in the UK concerning the UK riots. I have been observing, watching what is really going on in the UK. I wouldn't say I was a bit surprised by the current riot and discord between various communities within the United Kingdom. You see, the situation that occurs in Southport as a result of that scumbag uh, uh, attacking or stabbing those three kids is not the reason why there is a riot all over the UK today. You know, that situation was a terrible, terrible situation. I don't really know what happened to that kid that allows or motivated him to stab those little kids. First of all, I see a lot of people blaming Tommy Robinson and the ADF. See, Tommy Robinson is not the reason why the protest is happening all over the UK today. Tommy Robinson have sowed the seed of discord between various communities in the United Kingdom for over the last couple of years. But we have not seen the level of riot at this scale because the politicians were not involved in the past. You know, the Tory party amplified the statement being made by Tommy Robinson over the last couple of years. You see, the last government was a disservice to this nation. The last government was so interested in winning power, it was ready to destroy this country and destroy society because they wanted to remain in power. This couple of individuals, Swala Braverman, Nigel Farage, Rishi Sunak, and the Tory party as a whole, sowed the seed of disunity among British citizens and the immigrant population. The Tory party was so desperate to remain power and it pulled out everything out of the book just to ensure they return back to power by dividing the country, making statements that, according to Swala Braverman, multiculturalism has failed. They made all sorts of comments about immigrants. Immigrant became the scapegoat for why the UK wasn't working. The Tory party and its MP amplified everything Tommy Robinson has been preaching for years. So people should not blame Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson was not the reason. He has been preaching his hate messages for the last couple of years, but we have not seen the riots at this scale because politicians have never been in support of him. But he found a co-partner in the last Tory government. The various ministers, Swala Braverman, Rishi Sunak, the Tory MPs, and also Nigel Farage, enhanced and amplified what Tommy Robinson has been saying over the last couple of years. That's why we're having this riots all over the country. People say the UK is a racist country. I don't think the UK is a racist country. I think the UK is a tolerant country. Is there racism in the UK? Absolutely, there is racism. But the UK is not a racist country, but there is an element of racism in the UK. So the current situation we find ourselves is when you sow the seed of disunity consistently for so many numbers of years, the time has come for harvest. We are seeing the harvestation of the seed of disunity and hatred towards people of different ethnic minority groups in the UK as a result of the continuous dehumanization of the immigrant population. When people talk about immigrants claiming your jobs, immigrants are not claiming your jobs. Most of the jobs done by immigrants are jobs who are not willing to be done by British nationals or British citizens. Secondly, when you wake up in the morning at 5 a.m., if you do night work or you drive in the night, the people you see getting off the buses, the trams at about 5, 6 a.m. are mostly immigrants going to work. So immigrants are not claiming benefit like the politician wants you to think. People keep saying, oh, immigrants are sitting down claiming. Immigrants are not claiming benefit. Do you think people will leave their country and come to Europe or America and sit at home just to claim benefit? When you wake up in the morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., the people you see getting off the bus are immigrants who are going to work in the factory, who are cleaning your offices, who are picking the bins, who are cleaning up the streets. Why? The so-called natives are still in bed sleeping. So when people talk about immigrants are not claiming benefit compared to the native. Secondly, I want to address this issue of NHS being overfilled as a result of immigrants. You see, the data is there. We are living in a first world country. We're not living in a fourth world country where data is not available. Immigrants are less likely to use the NHS because these people come from a resilient society. They don't just go to the hospital because they have a little bit of headache. They have gone through a lot in their lives. They can adapt to pains and little illness that they have. They don't really go to hospital. Thirdly, when people talk about immigrants occupying housing, it's just ridiculous when people talk about housing. I have lived in my area for like over almost 15 years. I know British national Caucasians who the father, the mother, the brothers, each of them live in a different house and they have never worked. So that is just a myth saying that immigrants have taken all the social houses in England. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why do you not apply under the Freedom of Information Act and seek to know the numbers of immigrants living in social housing in England? Just like we can get the same amount of immigrants claiming benefits. The media have sowed the seed of disunity among British nationals. Immigrants are not the problem of this country. The problem of this country is the so-called government who has failed to invest in the people, who have failed to invest in British infrastructure. The last government was a disaster. The last Tory government, over the last 10 years, destroyed this country. Every single income, every single disposable income that citizens used to have been taken away from them through taxes. The current riot we are experiencing today is because there's an economic tunnel. There is a high cost of living. People are frustrated. People don't have money. People are having difficulty in living. And this situation have triggered them. So the anger in their system as all comes out. That's why you're seeing the riots all over the places. So when people talk about immigrants, using immigrant as a scapegoat, I just look at it. I look at it a bit ridiculous when you talk about immigrant claiming benefit. You think people will move all the way from Africa, from South America, from Middle East and come to England and sit down and start claiming benefit? You need to think properly. The immigrants are not your problem. The government have failed to invest in the British people and in the British nation. That is why people are poor. People are poorer compared to where they used to be 10 years ago because the last government was a disaster. The level of taxes in this country rose tremendously, while the disposable income of citizens dropped. That is the reason we are having this issue. This riot, this attack against different community has caused as a result of the high cost of living, downward economic situation we find ourselves, and people are struggling to survive. This has exacerbated the level of intolerance in the UK. Like I said, the UK is not a racist country. I have traveled. I have been to several European countries. I can tell you the UK is far better, far tolerant than most countries. Even compared to the United States. The UK is one of the most tolerant countries, but you cannot play on the minds of people. Despite their tolerance, they could still be exploited by others who are willing to take advantage of them. So the situation we're experiencing in the UK today is caused as a result of continuous seed of disunity being sold by politicians and people like Tommy Robinson and others to divide the country. And that is what we are getting today. This has been years in making. It's only a matter of time before people will be able to express their anger. And the anger is what we are seeing today on Bree Street. That is my take. Thank you.